Good morning, everybody. It is Monday morning, September 11th. So let's talk about some stuff that happened over the weekend. Well, there's some flooding going on in Saudi Arabia, really, really bad flooding. There was a huge, massive earthquake that happened in Morocco. I assume you guys all believe the same thing I do, that that was probably manipulated to be worse, or the news is lying to us. I don't know. I don't know. At this point in time, I don't know what is true and what is not. So we just have to kind of follow along with it and let things kind of end up where they end up at. Also, today is a good opportunity to have those conversations with people about things being an inside job. I think today should definitely be that opportunity for us to talk about it being an inside job, because I still think there's a lot of people that don't actually know what happened many, many years ago on this day. So anyway, the other thing that I want to talk about, and I don't have any place to put my hands in this new setup other than on a chair that rocks back and forth in front of me. So over the weekend, Friday night, Saturday morning, I think I jumped a timeline somewhere in the last week. I have found some weird things that I never noticed before, but this is the main thing that happened on Friday night. Was I was asleep. I woke up and looked at the clock and it was 12:12. And I literally remember thinking to myself, oh, cool, 12:12. And then the next thing I knew, I woke up and it said 12:11. And I literally watched it flip over from 12:11 to 12:12. Now, I suppose I could have been dreaming. I don't think I was, because I feel like I laid there for a while kind of going, what the heck? How did it go from 12:12 to 12:11 and then 12:12 again? So anyway, that was kind of a bizarre thing. I don't know if any of you guys have ever experienced that, but that was pretty, I guess, cool. I don't know. I'm not sure what you would call that. And another thing that I want to talk about is sometimes being right is not always the best thing. And I have some examples that I want to talk about. One happened a long time ago, and I had a girlfriend who had met a guy, I guess online somehow, and he was pursuing her from a distance, we'll just say. I think for some reason he lived in New York or something. And I remember us going to downtown Fridays one night. This has got to be like 25 years ago. I mean, it was a long time ago. It was when I was still hanging out and running around and going to bars and different things and enjoying life, unlike sometimes now. And we were having dinner at TGI Fridays downtown, and she was telling us about this new guy that she had been dating, and that he had sent her flowers and everything. And all of a sudden I got this like sucker punch in my gut, because I was like, something that she said made me realize that it was fake. And that was about the time, I don't know if any of you are single and have had this experience, but was about the time when guys would start calling from or pretending they were from the United States and that they were working out of the United States, and then they would ask for money because they got stuck or whatever, and a lot of women got suckered into that. I had someone that tried to do that to me. I did not get suckered in, and I think my friend, I don't know if she ever sent him money or anything, but anyway, that was one of those examples of when my physical body gave me the indication that something was off. So I pay a lot of attention to my feelings, because that's how I get a lot of my intuitive information. I also years ago, sorry, I always have a frog in the morning. I got intuitive information about someone that I knew very well getting a divorce, and that ended up being right. And I had to open my big mouth, and that got me into some hot water. And then the latest thing is something that happened at work, and we have one job there that is an email where everybody, I mean, it's kind of like the general email, the catch-all email for anything and everything. A lot of closing packages come there, title requests, you know, it's just kind of like one that anybody and everybody can use. And we have one person that sits there and she sends all of those emails out. And if it's closing packages, we've got passwords and everything. So it's very time consuming, lots and lots of steps to get from beginning to end. And I absolutely hate that job with a passion, because if that gal is gone, it gets spread around over the receptionists. And I've even told management before that if this gal ever leaves, I am quitting. I'm like, I am not doing that every day. I cannot do that with the phones ringing like they ring and all the people at my desk all the time. I will lose my mind. And when I do that, it usually turns me into a royal bitch, to be honest. And I hate how I get when I'm that stressed and overwhelmed. And I just don't want to do that every day. So anyway, she came in on Thursday and then left like right after she got there. And so we receptionists did it on Thursday and was doing it on Friday. And I remember going back to the girls in the back and saying, I see this person like being gone more and more all the time. I'm like, she's not physically well, has a lot of things wrong with her. And I literally like went back there and said, you know, I see it happening like where she takes off like 2 weeks at a time to heal. And then it, you know, it just like, she gradually like moves herself out where we don't end up having anybody in that position. And so I was just having a conversation with a couple of the women back in the back about this, and not kidding, I think it was probably 30 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour later, we get an email from the receptionist manager that this gal had taken a fall Thursday morning on her way into work and thought maybe she had fractured some stuff, going to the doctor today. And I was like, oh my God, this is one of those cases where I don't want to be right. I don't want to intuitively see her not coming to work and that falling into my lap more and more frequently. So that was one of those cases of where me being right, I'm like, I'm not saying I'm right about everything, but sometimes I'm right more than I want to be about good and bad things. You know, it's like if, you know, I had someone in my life not too long ago that started a new job. I didn't have a good feeling about that whole thing. She was super excited, so I kept my mouth shut, and it has come to fruition that it has not been a really good thing. So I don't enjoy being right about bad things, but sometimes that does happen. So I don't know why I tell you that, other than I'm going to put you on pause for a second because I intended to do cards and then didn't end up bringing them over here. Hang on just a second. Huh. Okay, that seems to have worked. Yeah, I really did intend on doing cards this morning. And I know the light is off here. I have the dining room light is like right above me here. And it's too close to the kitchen, so I know the lighting is off here. But anyway, so let's see if we can figure out, let me think about what kind of questions I want to ask. One, I want to know what does the next 7 days look like? And I have a lot of questions. So let's just tell me what the collective can expect for the next 7 days. We have a new moon coming in. I feel like there is a lot of up and down and back and forth energy in the world right at the moment. I'm seeing it on certain things that I'm involved in. I kind of feel that sometimes. So tell us what we can expect for the next 7 days here as the collective. Well, at the moment, since there are no cards coming out, it must be, it's going to be a boring week. Whoa, there is one. The Four of Wands came in, flew out in the reverse position. Let me just keep going here. Normally the Four of Wands in the upright position would, there's another one, would be a celebration card. But then, wow, okay, I take back whatever I said. They're flying out now all of a sudden. Okay, tell me what we can expect for the next 7 days as the collective. All right, tell me what we can expect as the next 7 days as the collective. Tell me, okay, all right. All right. So the Four of Wands came up in reverse, then the Ten of Wands in upright, the Hermit upright, Six of Wands upright, the Chariot upright, and the Knight of Swords in reverse. All right, so let me think about this here for a second. The first thing that I want to say is, I feel like we find out maybe some not so great news about something that we've been wishing for, because the Ten of Cups is kind of like our end-all, be-all, perfect life. And with the Four of Wands in reverse, that would be celebration, but celebration in the reverse position. And then the Hermit card comes up right after the Ten of Cups. So that makes me think we might find out something that's disappointing. And I feel like I want to say we go home and stay home and lick our wounds. So there's something coming along that doesn't sit real well with us. And I'm going to say this happened to me last week. I got a slap on the hand for something that I did, and then I sat home and licked my wounds because I was disappointed. I had high hopes for something, and it may have just gotten yanked out from underneath of me. So I have sit at home, especially over this weekend, thinking about, okay, if that has been taken off my income opportunity list, let's figure out what am I going to replace that with. So but then I'm going to say shortly thereafter, the Six of Wands came up right after that. So we may sit at home for a little while and think. So I feel like I want to say the universe maybe slapped our hands and said, no, I don't want you doing that. And so then we're like, but that was going to be my way out. And then, so we have to kind of go home and think about, okay, why did the universe pull that out from underneath of me? Why did that rug get pulled out from underneath of me? And then the Six of Wands would be, again, I feel like that's like a celebration. So you've overcome whatever, you're moving forward. And then the Chariot card came out next. So you're definitely moving forward. So you may sit at home for a little bit after the slap on the hand, lick your wounds for a little bit, think about what you've done wrong. I mean, what I'm literally picturing is like a 5-year-old kid that did something, their parents reprimanded them, and they kind of go sit in the corner and think about it, and then they kind of forget about it, and they're like, okay, fine, I won't do that anymore. And then the Knight of Swords, let me think about this. I want to get a clarification card for that. It's in the reverse position. Can you clarify the Knight of Swords for me? Clarify the Knight of Swords for me. How does the Knight of... Okay. The Five of Swords. Okay, so... all right, let me think about this. It's a lot of stressful thinking. So, okay. So while you are trying to move forward from this slap on the hand, I feel like you keep revisiting what happened. You keep revisiting what you did wrong, how to make sure that doesn't happen again. I do not know how this applies to everybody. I don't know, maybe you got a speeding ticket. Maybe you got in trouble at work. Maybe you got in trouble doing something. And I'm not saying it's like detrimental or anything like that. It doesn't feel, because there's none of the pinnacle cards. So it doesn't feel like you lost money in this per se, as much as you got your feelings hurt, your ego got wounded, you got in trouble for something, and you're not liking the way you feel about that. And I feel like the universe did that as a lesson, and nobody likes getting a lesson from the universe, because sometimes those lessons from the universe hurt kind of bad. All right, let me get my other cards. Okay, so I'm going to do Work Your Light Oracle cards here. And what can the universe tell us about moving forward? So after we get our hands slapped, after we get in trouble, after we get that speeding ticket, after the boss gets after us for something, what can we do to move forward so we can just learn our lesson? And it says, it's the mother, star mother. How can you mother yourself? I feel like that kind of goes along with the hermit card, because I think when we go into hermit mode, that has to do a lot with self-care. And I think self-care is really super important right now. And I don't know if I brought this up in a video last week or if I just mentioned it on the Telegram channel post, where I had a friend of mine that had reached out. She had called me on a Friday night. I was so exhausted that I'm like, I just did not have time to, and it wasn't time, I didn't have the energy to have anything negative come at me again. And a lot of times when she calls, I feel like it's something to do with more negative energy. I can't get away from her when I get on the phone. So I ended up sending her a message and saying, I've got like zero energy. And if if you're giving me an energy bump, great. But if you need one for yourself, basically it's like, I don't have anything to give right now. And I feel like going into hermit mode is us taking care of ourselves. Oh God, I'm getting hot. So we have to be really, really, really careful about people in our lives that suck our energy down. And especially if you're already kind of in a bad place, don't continue to let them suck energy from you. I mean, there's enough crap going on in the world right now sucking our energy down. We don't need friends doing that. So just keep an eye on that. The other one is play, have fun, celebrate, don't be so serious. So maybe you make a joke out of what happened this week and, kind of laugh about it instead of being so serious about the slap on the hand. What else can we do to move forward this week to make, to get out of that, feeling or whatever? What else can we do? What else can we do? Maybe nothing. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's two. So one says, the age of light, you've been training for this for lifetimes. We know that. We're ready to start doing what we've been training for. Fill up your well, retreat, rest, refuel. I think I've already gone over that. That's key right now, I think, is rest, refuel. I feel like I'm doing a lot of that since I moved, taking special care to, I went out for walks this weekend. I spent a lot of time with myself, feeling into and I do feel a lot better. Vibrationally, I feel a lot better. I'm not as tired as I was. I'm sleeping better than I was. So while I was a little pissy about moving, and that sucked my energy down for a very long time, I am now seeing why I got kicked out of the nest. I am now seeing why they wanted me over here. It's so quiet and so peaceful. And there's this little neighborhood just west of where I am at. And it's got old houses, new houses. It's got lots of mature trees in one area. I walked down that yesterday and I felt like I was in a woods with sidewalks. And I mean, that is such a grounding feeling to be in the woods. The leaves are still green. It was just like, I just felt like I could do that all day long. And I was just in my happy place. And let's throw a few more in here. And these are what are these called? The Crazy Sexy Love Notes. Messages from your wise and fabulous inner self. So let's just throw me out a few more things to just kind of help us have a better week. If there's anything we need to stay away from, there's the first one that flipped out. Spruce up your nest, which I kind of did. I moved that. So I'm like, I didn't like the way this whole back corner of my dining room was. So that was one of the things I did. I took everything off the shelf, moved it over here, moved it into the corner, ended up moving it this way, and ran the vacuum cleaner. So that's always a good feeling, is to spruce up your nest. It brings in fresh energy. So if you feel like you're in a funk, do that. It helps tremendously. Throw out a bunch of crap. If you've got a closet that you can't hardly move into, clean it out. It's fall. Do your fall cleaning right now. I did do that on the patio. I kind of spruced up my patio today. I repotted my jade plant over the weekend. I'm like, I do feel so much better than I was. Okay, spruce up your nest. It's time for a little spring cleaning or fall cleaning. Your home is sacred and your surroundings matter. Boy, do they. Honor where you recharge and fill it with beauty. Make space by giving away or donating what you don't need. Gee, I didn't write this card, but I feel like I could have. Your clutter could be someone else's gold. Plus, when we have less to process physically, we have more room to process things emotionally. A clear head and new room for great art awaits. Spruce up your fabulous nest. I could not agree more with that. I was so bogged down in that other place. I had all of my food preps. They were just piled all over the place in the bedroom. I just had too much stuff and it was smaller than this place. So I'm not going to let this place get as overrun as I did in the last apartment. It was not good for my mental state. All right, what else would you like to tell us to keep an eye on this week so we will have a better week after we got our feelings hurt from getting our hand slapped or the speeding ticket or whatever it was we got? All right, there's a couple. Make waves. It's your turn to make a splash and rock a few creaky boats. Don't be afraid to get wet. You may fail, you may look foolish, or you may make people think in a new way. Every great trailblazer and change maker made waves. You're no different. God, I feel like I make waves all the time. And I get in trouble sometimes. Anyway, and the other one is unplug. Okay, so here we go. Another one on recharge. Recharge your soul batteries by unplugging from the digital world. Connect with yourself by disconnecting from distractions such as other people's to-do lists. Take a stroll. The best way to generate fresh and innovative ideas is to balance with the virtual and natural worlds. The birds and the trees have just as much to teach you as the internet. I'm sure this reading is not just for me. I am sure this reading is for everybody besides me, but it certainly feels like they are hammering down recharge. Don't be at someone's beck and call all the time. If you don't have energy for yourself, don't be giving your energy away to someone else. They need to figure out how to recharge their batteries without it being you all the time. So anyway, I think that's it. I'm going to get to work. I hope you have a fabulous week. We will talk soon. Bye.